Hey everyone, welcome back to In Motion with me, Natalie Decker. And today we have Snowball champion Travis Braden and his girlfriend Jess. Thank you so much for being on.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thank you.
So
You forgot to mention Gus.
Oh yes, can you see Gus down there? I'm sorry. He blends in, he's so little.
Gus wanted to be a part of the show today, so we made a spot for him.
Yeah, well they could not come over to my house without bringing Gus. I mean, come on.
Right.
So first things I really want to talk about are the Snowball Derby and the last couple laps. Like I want to know what went through both of your heads. So whoever wants to start first.
I'll take it over first because mine's probably a little short and sweet, and baby just had quite the day emotionally. But yeah, the Snowball Derby was just a once in a lifetime experience. It was my first time getting to race in that race actually. And we had an up and down year, a lot of good runs that just didn't turn out, and the Snowball Derby week was kind of the same deal. And the race just wasn't really playing out, it didn't seem like, and things came together at the end.
And practice, right? Did
Yeah.
something even happen in practice?
Oh yeah, we wrecked in practice.
We got
Yeah.
wrecked. in
Yeah, you got
practice.
wrecked in practice.
Yeah, we don't talk about it too much. we got wrecked in practice, and it was just kind of, the week just was like, man, this is exactly how 2019 has gone.
Yeah.
And just the demeanor was down, I guess, is what I would say. And, so it played out. Things came together. We got to the end of the race, and we had charged from last to the top five. Actually ran into the top five and passed, I think, for second place. Time and Jesse was leading, and it looked like we were just going to finish second, which was really cool. And then I got spun out
Yep.
with like 8 laps to go, I think. So now this roller coaster is just up and down.
It's back down
emotionally.
again.
Yeah, and I think we restarted like 10th or 11th or something like that. And Ty Majeski gets spun, so I get some track position back. We end up restarting with 2 to go, finished second. It was the coolest feeling in the world, honestly, just to finish second. And it was forever. It was all night before we actually found out that we were declared the winner, which was kind of an unfortunate deal, but it was. Again, it was a roller coaster.
Well,
because we finished second, we were on a high, and then it was you're down here, and then you're back up.
Yeah, when they were filming it and you finished second and the whole crew and you were coming over, like it really looked like you won. And I was so happy for you guys to finish second. For me, it felt like you guys won just because of your whole weekend and your whole year. And that was really cool because I was like almost crying.
Oh yeah. Well, Speed 51 came over, and like you said, it really felt like a win. I mean, Travis races for a really small team that probably should have never been in the cars for the win anyway. And so second place was a win, and I mean, they stuck the camera in my face, and I'm ugly crying on the
No,
broadcast.
you were cute, don't worry.
But I woke up that morning, and you probably remember, I woke up and I said, I feel horrible. I have a horrible feeling about today, and I don't normally get like that. And like, I didn't want him to start the race. I just had a horrible feeling, and I actually missed the first few laps of the race because I was sick in the porta potty because I was so nervous. And I think maybe I confused my bad gut feeling for a good gut feeling. So,
That happens.
And
yeah.
she has a lot of very accurate gut feelings, and never ever has she
Had a
been-
wrong feeling.
Yeah. Well, but never has she been like, I have this bad feeling about a race. Like there's been days when it's like, things aren't going our way, but I can just tell.
You confused the
I
feeling,
did,
for
yeah.
sure.
And you're so right. The second place finish was just as great as a win. When Travis spun out with however many laps to go, 2 to go, the guys on the radio, I mean, they were still, even in that moment, like, that was awesome.
Yeah.
That was a great run. We did something that no one thought we could do, and that was still a win. So to come back after all of that was like really incredible.
Yeah, that's amazing. And then, so you finished second, and Nasty, who won, like a few hours later, failed tech. And this happens a lot at the Snowball Derby, for all of you who don't know. Like every year, someone fails tech, and it's usually the winner. But he fails, and you win. And I see this all the time, not just for the Snowball Derby, but a lot of the times for the super speedways, or like if someone fails tech, or if the second and first place guy take each other out last lap and the guy in third wins, or someone runs out of fuel, a lot of people like to comment and be like, you know, you only won because this happened. Which, you know, he did fail tech, but you put yourself in that position. It makes me so mad when people say that, because you were the one who put yourself in that position to, if it does happen, you were there to take the win.
Yeah, you're right. And we've heard a little bit of that, but for the most part, you know, everyone was pretty positive, and anyone that really watched the race saw, you know, we started dead last, or almost dead last.
Yeah.
And had to race under green flag to the front, and we did
exactly.
that.
You gotta pass so many people to finish second.
Part of winning a big race like that, you know, the top 10 cars are all capable of winning at least the top 10.
Yes, at least.
And so part of winning a race is just putting yourself in position. So that's really a win in and of itself. And that's, you know, again, when I got spun running second, we were like, hey, you won in our eyes is what our team's demeanor was. And when we actually finished second initially, that was, you know, we celebrated like
it was a win.
Yeah.
I felt at home it was a win. And then I woke up and you won, and I was like, what?
There was, that was honestly the first race I've ever finished in my career. And I couldn't hold the emotions back. Like when I stopped,
really? Oh, that feels amazing.
Yeah, I was pretty emotional, and we just finished second. So I think that says it all about really what the performance meant.
Yeah. Oh, I'm so happy. So for all of you who don't know how we met, so we both raced ARCA. Was it 2 years ago?
2018. Yeah.
And it was probably just a little bit, almost halfway to the season, and where were we racing?
Salem.
And you wrecked me.
I did no such thing.
And it was hard racing. But I was so mad on the radio. I was like, who was that? And they wouldn't tell me because he's a nice guy and they didn't want me to be mad at him.
Thanks.
Yeah, and then finally once the race was over, they're like, no, you can't be mad at him. He is so nice and the hardest working guy. They're like, trust me, just don't be mad. And then you came over and apologized. And literally our families became best friends, hung out at every race together.
It was, first of all, I take blame. I really do, because
thank you.
Everybody that's ever been to Salem knows you don't try to pass going into turn 3. And I don't know what I was doing, but I wrecked Natalie. And, you know, normally I've been in altercations and you make mistakes and things in racing, and I normally, I'm not really one to go and apologize very frequently. Maybe I should more.
Yeah, you become best friends.
Right, because I assume everyone knows we're all just trying to race.
Yeah.
And I don't take it too seriously when things happen.
It wasn't like something that you really needed to apologize for, because it was truly hard racing.
Yeah, but I did feel bad, especially in the ARCA series. Like, you know how much people put in the work and the time, and as drivers, you know, it just takes a lot. So to be there, and then we were both just trying to grind out a long day, and I ruined both of our days. I felt bad for my guys. I felt bad for you, your family, your sponsors. So I wanted to come apologize, and you were kind of like surprised. I felt.
Yeah,
you didn't really.
That you came to. Okay, and the funny thing was he came and he's really tall, so I was a little intimidated because I thought he was gonna yell at me. And we're in matching racing suits.
Pretty much, yeah.
And I was like, how could I be mad at a guy that has a good race suit?
You actually
excellent taste.
I really did say that.
That was you actually came out of your mouth. And then we all laughed. I think your family was all like they were all silent.
Yeah.
And then when it was all said and done, they were like, wow, you know, thanks.
Yeah.
We appreciate that. And you're right, we've been friends ever since. We hang out at the campground.
Yeah, well now I'm more friends with Jess, sorry.
I wasn't there at the track for all of this. I was watching at home, so I'm really glad that you did that. I didn't even have to tell him to do that. He did that all on his own.
I'm proud. I mean, and look what it led to. We hang out all the time now. We iRace together. We eat Sonic together.
Yeah.
We do so much.
It was funny. Yeah. I never would have guessed that we would be friends 2 years later.
Yeah.
Do what we do now, but
it is pretty wild. So you and Jess literally dropped everything from where you used to live, and you got a motorhome, and you drove all the way down here, and you're now living in North Carolina together. So first I want to ask you, about like sacrifices you've had to make, and like people do not understand. Like everyone thinks race car driver lives are like glorious and wonderful and perfect, and there's so much hard work and sacrifices that go into it. So
Yes.
I kind of want to hear your side first.
Well,
Doesn't it sound a little crazier when somebody else tells
yeah,
what we
it
did?
does, yeah.
That does. It kind of does sound crazy.
So, yeah, at the end of last year, Travis and I made the decision. Travis was living in Indianapolis, and I was living in Columbus, Ohio. And first of all, trying to do what we were trying to do by living in two separate states was not working. And everyone knows if you want to make it in racing, you really have to be down here. So a lot of people don't realize that I worked full-time. I went to school. I had a job in my field that was a great job. I was making really good money, and yeah, we just decided that we had to go do this if we wanted Travis to be able to pursue his dreams. So I quit my job, we bought our motor home, and we drove down here, and the rest is, yeah, now that I say it out loud, it sounds crazy. But yeah, I think people don't realize that yes, it's really cool that you get to drive a race car for a living and travel, and your life does seem glamorous and all fun, but it's a really, every day you wake up and you have to work really hard to be able to do that.
Yeah.
And you kind of give away your, I don't know, like a comfort of having a steady income,
Yeah.
Any sort of structure in your life. But we had that discussion. We decided, that was something I was willing to give up, and we've been down here since January, yeah.
Almost a year.
I have no regrets.
It's been fun. I mean, yes, living in a motorhome is probably tough, but you guys aren't too far away, and it's been fun having you here. I mean, you're pretty much our only friends.
Yes.
Just so you know, these are Derek and I's only friends.
They let us do our laundry here.
Yes.
It's a good trade-off.
If you guys just had a bigger driveway, we could just park that thing and then
and plug in and you'd be set.
But yeah, and I want to say, it says a lot about, I think, just what it takes, I mean, you listen to Jess's side of it, I've always been in this and as a driver, but for her, I mean, she recognized that really if you want to do this as a whole, as a family, basically, like you have to pretty much give your life to racing.
Yeah, and not a lot of people know that the significant other has to sacrifice just as much to make sure that you're pursuing your dreams. And like we were talking earlier in my kitchen, you started racing when you were 9, and I started racing when I was really young. I'm not going to say what, because in the game, you'll see later. But there were so many sacrifices I had to make growing up through high school and just racing and trying to pursue this at such a young age that a lot of my peers had no idea of these sacrifices I was making, and you definitely can probably relate to that.
Well, it's the thing, we don't complain either, right? Because it is what we want to do. I love getting to do what I do, but it really is glorious in a lot of ways. But there are just some freedoms in life that you have to totally give up, and you sometimes never get them back. So it's a double-edged sword, but that's why we do it. That's why Derek and Jess do what they do, because it is something that's rewarding on the good days, and that usually outweighs the bad. So
yeah, definitely. And like you said, Derek does a lot what Jess does, and that's so true. For all of you who don't know, Derek does find a lot of my sponsors. He does a lot of my contracts. He does so much behind the scenes, and that's a lot what you do. And I want to know, because we're in a very similar boat, just opposite.
Yes.
I'm the driver and he's the driver. What are the pros and cons to working this closely every day with your significant other?
I'm glad you asked, Natalie.
Because I bet they're similar.
are you able to bleep things out?
Yes.
Well, I was watching your first episode, and you referred to basically your race program as a small business, and that's so true. It's really just like running a small business with your significant other. And like you said about sacrifices, you basically sell your soul to the sport. And it's hard to find balance, I think, compared to like maybe a different type of small business. It's hard to find balance in life when every aspect of your life has to revolve around racing. So I wouldn't want it any other way. I wake up and I'm like, oh, I'm so thankful that I'm my own boss, and you know,
Yeah, I'm the boss.
well, I let him think he's the boss. And, you know, I have flexibility in my schedule and I get to travel, but it's really hard to find a balance, I think. And
that's so true, because it's hard to, okay, let's say dinner time and you're done working, you're eating dinner. Well, when do you shut off talking about sponsors and contracts and when to find money and where you're going next and next year's goals and plans? Like, it's hard to be like, okay, we're done working now. Let's take it and be just a couple now.
Yes.
That is very difficult.
It's impossible, really. And so you kind of just have to listen to each other, feel each other out, know when's the workday over, when's it okay to bring stuff up. And yeah, I feel like a lot of people, I think because I dress a certain way and maybe because I'm blonde, and a lot of people think that, oh, I'm just along for the ride, but you know, it really is hard work, like we were saying, to make this happen. And I think a lot of people don't realize, if it wasn't for the me's or the Derricks, that their driver doesn't get to race.
We would be as far as we are in our career if it wasn't for you guys, and that is the honest truth.
Well, and a lot of your fans wouldn't get to see as much of you, and
because you have to do their work as well.
Right, you'd be less available to do things that you do. So, you know, their experience following you they make a big difference. Derek and Jess make a big difference.
A huge difference. We couldn't do it without you guys.
How do you feel about working with me?
Oh yeah, I want to know.
Oh, it's great.
I was about to move on, but I want to know.
All the things that I say, oh yeah, I can take care of that, and then like 3 days later,
you still don't do it.
Failed to finish the task usually, and then it gets done. So that's pretty much the gist of all the work that we do together. Anything I start, she finishes, and then she also does her stuff.
I love it. I mean, I can relate to that. We get really busy and like sidetracked with a lot of things.
I overestimate the amount of time I'm going to have available to do tasks.
Me too. I think I have more time in the day than I really do. So I feel like I do start a lot of things and Derek has to finish it. Like, I come up with these awesome ideas and I start them, and then 3 days later it's still not finished.
That's going to be our excuse at least, right?
Yeah.
Time.
Time. I have to study for my next race. I go to lunch with my team, meet my trainer.
Yeah, but it really is. I mean, it takes a lot of time. As an example of what you do, you have to go to Statesville a lot.
Yeah, that's an hour away.
Yeah, it's an hour away. Sometimes there's traffic, I'm sure. Like, it's not easy, and there's a lot of things moving. A lot of people you have to communicate with.
Oh yeah, for sure. Okay, so I want to get into what you've been doing this year, and then also maybe a little bit of what you want to do next year and goals for next year. But first off, I want to ask, you've been racing super lates this year, and you were racing before COVID happened, and you're still racing after COVID. So I want to know, like, what the difference is at the short tracks, because I know the difference at NASCAR and the big tracks, but I want to know, like, what's it like at the short tracks.
You know, it's funny. I'll give a brief answer, and if you have anything else, it's not as different for us, I don't think, from pre and post COVID starting than it is in NASCAR. You know, we've still had fans. It depends on what state we're in, really, is what our stuff's dictated by. Like, you know, some states are kind of still not allowing it. Nashville, Tennessee just kind of cut us back. We can't race there right now, so it kind of keeps changing. The tracks that are racing, they're having fans. They're sometimes limited, sometimes not. So,
well, I'm just glad that fans are there, because the sport needs that. And like you said earlier with balance, I want to bring that up actually one more time, because traveling and racing at all these places, you do still need to have balance and go and see the places you're traveling to. And I bet that is a lot different now with everything being shut down. It makes it a lot harder to have that balance.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Well, we were bummed. We went to Nashville, and you know, we usually try to at least make one trip in town, on our way in town or on our way out of town, to see the city, and there's nothing to see right
It's
now.
all shut down.
Yeah, that was like the one race where I was like, "Ah, this really sucks. Yeah. But I think with the difference between NASCAR and what the short tracks are doing, a lot of the short tracks can't afford to operate without fans. Yeah. And so that kind of put everyone in a different boat. So we've been trying to, and when we go to the races, really encourage people, like, bring your mask, but come and buy a ticket and help these short tracks. The short tracks are suffering just as much as the teams and the drivers are. So, and we've been really fortunate that Travis's fans have bought merchandise and all kinds of stuff that have kind of gotten us through it. But yeah, as far as, you don't notice a huge difference from pre-COVID, but it definitely makes our trips to the track look a little different.
Yeah.
Like, I remember when we first went back racing, really the only places to eat were fast food or like truck stops.
And that's not fun.
No, it's so hard to eat healthy, and yeah. But we've been really fortunate that the series have worked really hard to be able to get fans back. So at least we get to experience that. And I know NASCAR hasn't been the same without them.
I'm sad, but soon, hopefully soon.
I want to say one thing too to add to that, which has been, we've had every race that we've been to, it's been, whether there's a limited capacity or wide open, it's been pretty much at capacity.
And like sold out.
And and the enthusiasm is there because these people can't, race fans typically are fans of other sports too. Most of them can't consume any other sport right now. Or at least not the way that they used to. But racing, they can still come. They can buy a hot dog. They can watch the race. Some of the tracks have done cool stuff. Like in Missouri, they've got a lot of spots where you can park your vehicle.
Oh, so you can like
around the
stay
track.
enclosed and
and you can watch from
quarantined.
your,
Yes.
That's cool. I haven't seen it, so that's cool. So next year, do you have like any ideas on what you want to do or like goals that you've been working on?
Yeah. I guess I'll start that one too. So I will say we don't necessarily have a schedule of what we're trying to do.
COVID messed with
Yes, it did.
2021, okay?
Yes.
But to answer your question as like what's our future goals, probably our biggest goal, or the one that we're the most excited about, I guess, is that we really want to end up owning and operating our own team.
Yes, I agree. Go for it, please do it.
We really love what we do in the short track world, so it would be awesome to sort of have our own little brand in that tier of the sport. I think a lot of people enjoy what we do. Just her and I, they love our team as well. We're not taking anything away from them, but it'd be cool to have it branded as our team and have partners that are involved in our team. And I think it's a cool way of connecting. I would love to eventually start racing, and I think it would be important to actually, spend some time racing in NASCAR, whether it's the truck series or whatever, and build a following there that can then kind of be connected between the two.
Yeah, well, you two are the perfect couple to do that.
Well, no one's doing that.
Yeah, you can totally do it. I believe in it.
What do you think?
Well, yeah, I think we're big on the promotion side, and sometimes when you talk about balance, we will go to races just as fans. I think that's really important to sometimes take a step back and be a fan.
I totally agree.
So we go to some of these short track races, and I see such a lack of people our age in the stands. And I think maybe it's because there's not a ton of people our age in leadership positions in short track racing right now. We just saw Casey Roderick. He started his own late model program. And so I think when you see this next wave of people from our generation starting teams or being promoters or being in positions like that, I think maybe you'll see a shift in short tracks being able to attract more people from that generation.
Well, yeah, I really agree with that, because then those kids close to our age or even a little bit younger will really look up to you guys and other promoters if they're younger, other people that are involved that are younger.
Yeah. I want to be part of that.
Especially because social media is so big, and that's where people usually see like idols and people that they want to be. And
I see
you guys do such a good job on social media, so
you guys are the best. We'll take second.
We get a lot of pointers from.
From Derek.
Yeah.
From Derek.
One thing I will say too is that we get a lot of people that all the time reach out and they want to be involved. They want to get started in the sport, whether they're taking
Because they just don't know
photos.
how.
Yeah, taking photos, or they want to do interviews or whatever, and that's usually the people that we get as far as the fan base that are younger.
Yeah.
You know, but we don't have anything to offer them, and most of the race teams, and I don't think this is just in short track. I mean, this is across the board.
Oh, yeah.
They don't have any way of really, opening their arms to let people in, right? Whereas if we were kind of operating our own
Yeah, you
program.
can totally do that and like take people in under your wing and
Yeah.
teach them and give them the opportunity. I
Give them the
love
opportunity.
it. Please make this
Yeah.
happen, please.
When I first learned about racing, I mean, I didn't know what any of this was 5 years ago. And when I went to my first short track, I was like, this is the greatest thing I've ever seen in my life. And I was hooked. I fell in love. But for several years, it was very hard for me as an outsider to get involved in a way other than buying a ticket. And so I think that would be something that we would really that's something I'm very passionate about,
Yeah.
is like you said, giving people opportunities that maybe don't have a bloodline in racing, get involved and be a part of it, because it really is the coolest community and just the greatest group of people. It's the best sport in my opinion, and everyone should have an opportunity to play whatever part they want.
Yes, I agree. I love it. You guys are going to kill it when you get this going.
We're gonna get it going.
I love it. Okay, so before we go, I really want to play this game because if you've been following along, my first guest, we played a game. Now with you guys, I want to play a game.
All right.
And why we're playing it this way is because first, me and Travis were friends, but now I'm friends with Jess. So they both kind of know me pretty well. So we're going to see who knows me better. Okay?
All right.
So there's only 4 questions. The first one's pretty easy. What's my favorite color?
Pink.
What do you think?
White.
What? Okay.
What is the
Yellow.
lack of...
I don't know. Can I keep
White's
guessing?
not a color, right? Comment down below if you think white's a color.
Yeah, is white a color?
No, white and black aren't colors. But Jess is right. Okay, 1 point for Jess.
I can't even win it actually just answering.
Alright, favorite animal.
What is your favorite animal? Oh jeez. Is it a rabbit?
What?
Like a bunny rabbit?
No!
First of all, there's an elephant hanging around her neck, Travis.
Oh, yes! Thank
It's
you
an
for
elephant.
Women are so much more observant than men. I would
Okay,
have never noticed.
this one you might get right. Okay, really feel this one because we're similar. Okay.
Okay.
When did I start racing?
9 years old?
Did it get, I don't know, 5?
9. I started when I was 9.
Yes.
All right.
Is that when you started?
I started technically when I was 8, but
Oh.
yep, right around the same
Okay,
time.
I thought you said 9 earlier.
I was never.
So I got one right and you got one wrong?
She's gotten 2 right, and
Yeah.
you've gotten 1 right.
Yeah.
Okay.
It might be
How
a
many
tiebreaker.
siblings do I have? 1, 2, 3, both say.
1.
1.
Good job. Of course she knows.
Wait, if I'm doing my math correctly, how does this work? Because we both tied on that one.
And so I won.
She won because she got 3 right. You got 2 right.
Oh.
He's got 2 engineering degrees, but can't do simple math.
Okay, so.
But I answered it first.
Oh, that doesn't matter. I don't know. I'm not like a game
I'm
host.
just bad at losing.
This is a podcast, not a game show.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to
Oh.
say. So if you've been following along, you know that my last guest was Derek Krause, and we took a selfie, and I had him and I both sign it, and one of you have won that. So I'm going to do the same with them. We're going to take a selfie. We're all going to sign it. We're going to try to get the dog to sign it.
We're gonna wake him up. He's been just snoozing.
Okay, because he's got to be in the selfie. Okay. Are you ready?
Yep.
Oh, wait, I'm giving him bunny ears.
Oh. All right, there we go. Thank you so much for coming on today. And
Thank you for having us.
Thank you, guys.
This
So-
is cool. We're really excited that you've been doing this. So we
Thank you.
appreciate it.
And
Yes.
my second guest.
Love
So,
it. We're all about this.
This is the 3rd podcast that has been going out now. So thank you so much for tuning in, and I'm going to get this right. We have no idea where that cut because I think we went way past our time. So I'm sorry wherever that cut, but we're stalling out for now. And we'll see you next time in Motion with me, Natalie Decker. Bye, everyone. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. They're still here and it's like 5 hours later. But I forgot to say how, and this isn't focusing, but I forgot to say how you can win the autograph picture we're just printing off. Comment down below, I love short track racing, and you'll have a chance to win our autographed photo. All right, bye, this time for real.